Statseeker's Observability Appliance is a platform which can be deployed anywhere in the network to enable remote polling from the deployed location. Observability appliances can be deployed to areas of your network that cannot be monitored by Statseeker in a typical manner, and have those appliances act as a traffic collector, which then forwards NetFlow and summarized LAN traffic data to the Statseeker server via HTTPS. You can also deploy observability appliances to run a ping service, providing the option to monitor ping availability and reachability of critical infrastructure from multiple locations throughout the network. And we can see this in action here in the ping RTT comparison dashboard, where I'm currently looking at ping data for one of my routers from both the Statseeker server and an observability appliance deployed in a different location within the network. To deploy an observability appliance, we head to the admin tool under Observability Appliances. Configure and save your observability appliance. Once configured, you can download an image to the local machine, but you can also download an image at a later date from the Actions menu. Note the system requirements. We'll need these for when we provision the appliance, and select the image format appropriate for your environment. I'm going to drop the observability appliance onto my ESXi server, so I need a VMDK. Now, it'll take a few minutes for the server to build the image, but the download begins automatically once the image is ready. My image has been downloaded to my local machine, and I've then uploaded that to a data store on my ESXi host. I will now configure the virtual machine that will become my observability appliance, referencing the system requirements that we previously saw. Now, from Statseeker version 5.6.2, we need to also set the boot type to EFI. So I'm going to head to VM options and set the boot firmware. My VM is now configured, and I'm going to go back to my observability appliance image that I uploaded previously and select Move To, and I'm going to drop it in the folder for that VM that I've just built. And this move process also inflates the VMDK to the full 16 gig disk. I'll then edit the VM settings, remove the default disk, and attach my VMDK. Save and launch my new VM. Once the observability appliance is online and establishes communication with my Statseeker server, the status will be updated here, and this can take a couple of minutes. And now I'm ready to deploy services to my observability appliance. The two services are the local traffic manager. This is the one that looks after the flow and LAN data forwarding, and the ping service. The LTM service is included in your Statseeker license, but the ping service is licensed separately to the Statseeker core product, so you need to contact your local Statseeker sales representative to acquire the appropriate license to enable the functionality. Again, allow a couple of minutes after you've deployed the service to have it active on the observability appliance. Now, for new devices, I head to Remote Ping Discovery, select my polar, and configure a discovery range. I can run a test to ensure that I'm reaching all the devices I intend to monitor, and then initiate a discovery when I'm ready. I can also assign the observability appliance as another polar for existing devices from assigned device ping polars. These devices are being polled from both the Statseeker server and an observability appliance. I can modify which polars will be pinging a device and assign the default polar for a device. Now, the data presented in default dashboards and reports is typically data from the default polar. But some, like the ping RTT comparison dashboard we saw earlier, present data from multiple polars. When you're creating custom reports or dashboard content, setting the data type to device will always reference the default polar. But selecting ping as the data type allows you to use ping data from any specified polars. Likewise, when looking at alerting, setting the data type to device will deal with ping events as detected by the default poller. And when setting the data type to ping, you're able to easily configure the alert to consider down events from the perspective of any poller, and you can employ group filters to restrict this as needed. And that's a quick look at Statseeker's Observability Appliance.